Namaste, my name is Sanat Kumar. Welcome back to the Manana Podcast. Manana is a Sanskrit word that means reflection or contemplation. In this podcast, I'll be sharing my deep, insightful reflections for you to contemplate and hence live a life of fulfillment. I hope you find great value in today's episode. The core of the flower of fulfillment model is awareness. Then comes action and habits. Even in the last episode, we reminded ourselves the same. With awareness, we make choice. And through that choice, we take action. And recurring actions will lead to habits. In this episode, I'll be sharing 9 habits that have made massive impacts on my wellness, wisdom, and work. So here are the 9 habits that can change your life. 1. Waking up early. Early rising can be the best keystone habit one can have. I've already mentioned that in the episode Keystone Habit that changed my life. And we've also discussed that in general it's better to know your sleep archetype and then plan to get extra waking hours. That is, one may rise early or sleep late. However, in my experience, waking up early has more benefits than sleeping late. Not just the energy, vibe, etc. Of course, that is also there. There are a lot of benefits just because of the energy that is there, just because of that time itself. But here I want to focus mainly on this aspect, that is, your day will be influenced by the first hour. If you are someone of the owl archetype, then you will not have control of the first waking hour, especially if there is any other family member who wakes up early. However, if you are an early riser, you can own your first waking hour. You get to do whatever you like without any disturbance before anyone else wakes up and commands you with an obligatory task. And once you own the first hour, you can own the day. 2. Consume mindfully. Healthy and intent aligned. This habit was installed through the realization that our body and mind are just the accumulation of what we've gathered. Whatever goes in will influence the tendencies of your mind and body. So, try to become mindful of what you consume, even whatever goes into your mind. This one habit comprises various micro habits. Some examples: drink water instead of tea or coffee. Mute statuses or stories and notifications of general content that is not useful to you in any way or that you can find anywhere. After every piece of content you consume, observe how you feel. If you do not feel good or inspired, and mainly if it is irrelevant to your life, then stop consuming that type of content. When I say irrelevant to your life, you think about your intent. If it is not aligned with that, then stop consuming that type of content. I suggest you go through the episodes Life Alignment and Intentional Living to know more about aligning your lifestyle with your intent. 3. Gratitude and love. Everyone who is suffering from an existential crisis must know this. This should be the first habit they must install after the habit of reflecting for awareness. Daily, write what you're grateful for. It might not be writing itself. Sometimes I might not write them. It will be part of my sit still practice. Or it might be when you are doing something else. Maybe you're brushing your teeth. You can just go through the points which you are grateful for. I have one framework for that. I call it KHOMIE, that is KHOMIE. I'm grateful for the knowledge I am receiving, for the incredible or indestructible health, you can say. Then you can say O for opportunities, and then money that you are receiving, and you can say insights or ideas that you are receiving, and then energy to make all these work for you, right? You can use this or any other framework which you can create yourself, reflect on them. You can just be grateful for all that you are receiving in these aspects. And the second part of this habit is love. When you're grateful, you'll naturally love. And when you're in love, you're naturally grateful. The same thing came to me as a statement or quote, you can say, Dhanyanagi Pritiso, Pritisi Dhanyanago. Loving involves loving your parent, sibling, your pet, your work, nature around you, and eventually everything. The word loving, it's not something you do, it's the way you feel within. That's what I mean here at least. 4. Write. I've already written 2 blogs regarding the same, reasons to write every day and write better. So you can either read those blogs or you can listen to them as podcasts in this channel. There are two types of writing through which one can utilize the habit to its fullest potential. One, to know yourself. These are the notes where you write about your own tendencies, intent, or observations, how you feel, all that, all of yours, all about yourself. Two, to know the world. There are the notes where you write the facts you realized about life. Writing in all these forms is a great tool for reflection. There can be wisdom and awareness through deep reflection. 5. Read. Reading books and blogs is a great tool one must have, especially non-fiction. Reading has a lot of benefits. As mentioned earlier, we tend to become what we consume. The more greatness we consume, the more we get to become that. Reading provokes thinking, acts as a reminder, and much more. We've already covered that in the episode Reading Books 101. 6. Yoga. Move. I think I need not mention the benefits of yoga. What are all the benefits of just moving your body every day? And yoga is a very balanced way of doing that without, hurting yourself. 7. Meditate. I'm just telling, be still and aware. There are ways and levels of meditation. In the beginning, one might feel the need for guided meditation, then some sounds, then one will move to need ultimate silence, and eventually none of these will be needed. One may start by struggling to stop the voice in one's head, then move to a stage where one can pause the thoughts but will not be aware when his or her mind starts to wander. Then comes the stage where thoughts are naturally less, but the meditator is trying to move to an even more advanced stage by noticing the emerging thoughts. And we've already heard this. Meditation is not something you do, it happens. So in my experience, yes, some days are great and some days are not. Considering you are meditating only once a day. There are a lot of aspects to this that are hard for me to explain everything here. However, there are a lot of benefits to meditating daily, and the key is consistency. By consistent practice, one can train the mind to be more mindful, calmer, sharper, and all that we aspire for our minds to be. And of course, the benefits of meditation are not limited to body and mind. You can align it based on your preference. I have my own process which is aligned with my intent. So you can also do the same. You can make your own process by mixing and matching different kinds of practices that will serve your intent. 8. Anushtana. Non-negotiable habit. Non-negotiable habit. Anushtana is a habit you do daily without fail, regardless of at what time you wake up or how much work you have. It is a non-negotiable habit, that's all. Anushtana can be multiple habits because one might be a musician as well as a spiritual practitioner, so he or she may choose to have Anushtana for each aspect of his or her life. I'm not going too deep here because I want to write a blog dedicated to this subject, because here I'm just saying it as a non-negotiable habit, but I want to take Anushtana as in spiritual practice as a separate blog and separate episode eventually. I'm still working on that, but for now, please consider having a non-negotiable habit in your lifestyle. 9. Work on what you love. This may sound cliche, but this is better advice than love what you do. Love what you do is a piece of good advice if what you are doing is aligned with your intent, with how you want to live your life. However, for example, if your intent is to love animals and probably to make an animal care center in the future, you cannot love what you do now if your work is butchering animals for people to eat. You're understanding? It's contradictory, right? Moreover, when your work is aligned with your intentions, loving what you do is automatic. By the way, love what you do also has limitations. If one's loving work is poison for another person's life, then it's a crime, right? And at the core, that won't be what you love. Anyway, working on what you love will bring an immense sense of fulfillment in your life. When you're doing the work you love, all you will be concerned about is being in that state, in that lifestyle. Results don't matter. That is the way to live a life of fulfillment, isn't it? These are the habits that make up most of my lifestyle, and most importantly, these are the high yielding habits. Now it's your turn. Now, if you want, you can listen to the episode again and reflect on whether you've already got similar habits installed, or if not, reflect on how you can install them into your lifestyle. I hope you received excellent value in today's episode. To know more, head over to sanatkumarnabi.com, and if you haven't already, check out my book The Flower of Fulfillment. Thank you for listening, and I wish you have a great day.